Hello, and welcome to the EGLA Quality Function Deployment Training Series. We will go through a total of 7 sets of videos that are made based on the PowerPoint presentation slides. This one is the first one, Introduction to QFD or Quality Function Deployment. The name sounds a bit strange, especially when you think what it really is. That is partly based on the translation errors done from Japanese to English in the first phases, but this is the name that is used for now, and that's why we use the same words as all international players. Quality function deployment is also known as the house of quality, and when we go through what is done based on that, you will understand that in this context, the quality means meeting or exceeding the customer requirements. And by many people, this is the best tool ever created to tie product and service design decisions directly to what customer expectations are, what they want, what they need, which we in turn get from the voice of the customer exercise. And we have a separate training for the customer, feedback collection, voice of the customer. And this is a system and method that helps to get very successful breakthrough products and services. QFD was designed to deploy customer input throughout the whole process of making products, even delivering them. So it takes into account the design, production, marketing, and delivery features of any given product or service. Typically, QFD is done as a team exercise using cross-functional teams, i.e. teams from all players involved. And there is a matrix that looks like a house, as you can see in the future. That actually explains the name House of Quality as well. In this introduction, we'll now go through the basic things and then in next steps to further each phase of the development. Like said, the name comes from 3 different things. First of all, quality, in this context meaning meeting or exceeding the customer requirements. Function, what must be done. And deployment, who, when, and how the things will be done. The history starts from Mitsubishi's Kobe shipyard in Japan, 1972. But as with many lean things, Toyota was one of the leaders also developing QFD. It is said that QFD enabled Toyota to reduce their time to market with more than 30%, which is substantial improvement in throughput times. In USA, Xerox was one of the players that developed it further, but like with most lean tools, there has been several different companies and organizations developing it. And today, when we speak about already times with 2020 soon, the tool is functioning really well. It's used by major corporations like Ford, DEC, GE, AT&T, Nokia, ITT, actually almost all major corporations. It is not a commonplace tool, though, but it's increasing in numbers, in examples on how to use it, and there has become now several different versions to be used in different industries and services. When we think about Green Lean and EGLA approach, this is a tool we strongly recommend to use because it will really help you in focusing on the right things in each phase. The concept as such is quite simple. It is just translating the customer requirements or needs, what they have told, to technical requirements for each stage of the product development or service development, operations, and even logistics, like you have said. It all starts with understanding what customers are expecting from us, like you will see in the last slide. But this combines and puts together what needs to be done with marketing and sales, what needs to be done in planning, how the product or service should be designed and engineered, what kind of feature we want to see when we make prototypes, how we do it in actual operational process development, in operations, and even in after-sales marketing and after-sales efforts. When many companies still today don't use it, in the worst case, the results might be like in this picture. Sales and marketing send something basically over the fence to design departments without real proper information on what the customer actually wants, what has been promised. And when it goes further to the process, to production engineering, actual manufacturing, it's probable that the customer doesn't get what he or she ordered, but something that is either totally different or a bit in the way that customer were thought to want. When we do a QFD, everybody is working the same team together to create full understanding and to make sure that in each step of development we have all players around the same table, like in this picture, using, you see the drawing on the side, something that looks like a house. That is the picture or a template we use for QFD exercise. There are several benefits and goals in using of QFD. It helps you to simultaneously work with many goals and to see that all benefits in each goal can be met. First of all, it improves the quality of not only the product or service, but also of the work. It helps to reduce the development time, which in turn helps to reduce the time in operations. It will meet or exceed the customer requirements, and in turn reduce costs related to delivering the service or product. And when it's done right in the first time in each phase, it's cutting down the rework done, which is again saving costs, saving people's nerves, and improving the whole operation. That happens a lot through improved communication and understanding, and also when the documentation is done among the same team all the time, there is no misunderstandings of what has been agreed and what we are going to do. It also enables us to do less design changes and have simpler implementation. And it's really a team effort to remove all the barriers of communication, barriers of understanding to make sure that we really do what is needed. As a process, it starts, like said, from the voice of the customer. We have a separate training for that, so if you have not done it yet, please familiarize yourself with the voice of the customer first. Simply put, it's a process where you identify the customers, and we have 3 different layers of customers, meaning that we have the most clear customers, the external ones, the internal ones, and also other possible stakeholders, especially when we think about sustainability. There might be different stakeholders we have to take into account when starting to think and develop new things. So we determined the voice of the customer, and we use then QFD to design and determine what needs to be done and how it needs to be done and how we'll measure the actual results, also regarding the features of the product or service that in turn give the benefits for the clients. This is how the actual house of quality looks, or the QFD template. Like said, we start there from the left, from the customer needs, based on the voice of the customer exercise. We'll go through all these steps in detail later. Then we will go to design requirements, also called critical customer requirements, CCRs. We look at the different interrelations between what is planned to be done. We look at the customer understanding of our competitors. Also, it might be our internal customers, remember, telling where especially our competitors are better than we are, so that we can tackle that and improve our own product or service. Then we check the correlations on the rooftop to see which are the most important at present to focus on. Basically, the fifth step with correlation matrix is to see where we can actually combine forces to get fast results that are now important for the organization. And after we've done that, we focus on performance targets. How shall we measure, how we make sure that the product or service is really supplying what is needed. And at the end, we still do the analysis and diagnosis step to make sure that we have understood everything right and taking everything into account. So this was the basic presentation for the quality function deployment or house of quality. In the next videos, you will learn how to use each step one by one.